but keen to work with Simon. Pop's second most famous ginger scouser, after Cilla Black, Sonia, loved working with him. No, she really loved it.
Well, it was great working with Simon because he always had bags of energy and bags of ideas. And if he had an idea, that second he'd be on the phone, you know. Such a charismatic character, full of life, and he was really extraordinary, very, very different. His personality, it was just overwhelming. He lit up the room and really inspirational, you know. He was a star himself.
Sonia, love, he's not going to give you another deal.
I'm on the top of the world.
It was all going so well. Finally, the plan had come together.
He had a house in Chelsea at the time. He had a nice, you know, 3-storey house, a decent car, had a very good wage, etc., and, you know, travelled, holidays, the normal type of trappings that you get.
Simon had the hits, the cars, the money. Wisely, he invested it in stock in his label's parent company, which promptly went bust and he lost everything.
The rug was pulled from under his feet one day and ended up with nothing, and the shares that he was given as a consequence of the work that he did in the record company were absolutely worthless, so everything just went. And he went back home to live with Mum and Dad.
Simon's very candid and honest about when he nearly lost everything. It was only about 12, 13 years ago. He was down to his last £5. He used it to get a taxi home to his mum.
Well, he wasn't going to get the bus, was he? For the 30-year-old Simon Cowell, it was very far from going right. He was down, but not out.
In fact, it was quite an eye-opener for both his father and myself, that he was so positive, that there was a so what, so I've lost it, it's gone, there's no good complaining, but I'm going to get it all back and I'm going to do this, that and the other.
One thing that Simon Cowell understands extremely well is that failure is the making of the man.
For 15 months, Simon was out of the game, so he pulled his socks up and his trousers and hustled his way back into the industry. Then, in 1990, he landed an A&R job with Sony BMG. Cowell was back, and this time he had a big idea.
He realised that if he was going to be successful, he had to do something unique.
What wasn't understood within the record label or the place he was working was that television was the most powerful medium for selling music.
He broke the mold and went, oh, I'll go straight to telly.
Maybe all the daytime telly he watched when he was unemployed gave him an idea. Kids' TV was the way forward. 8-year-olds liked telly, they liked music, they had pocket money, and Simon could get his hands on it. He released records by the Power Rangers, WWF wrestlers, and right in the middle of the rave boom, the Teletubbies. Credible? Not really. Successful? Oh yes. Between them, those 3 acts sold more than 4 million records. Simon understood what the kids wanted. But being a kid doesn't mean you won't get the usual Cowell treatment.
That was a very nice performance.
Probably one of the best ones we've seen.
I didn't like it.
This is the Zagamuffin calling planet Earth.
Zig and Zag were the next TV act on Cowell's hit list.
We used to sing the Ragazaga style on the Big Breakfast.
Yeah.
We were doing that for about 6 months before he called us up.
Yeah.
And he saw our talent. He said, that is talent.
That's what he said. He said, that is talent.
Yes.
What were their first impressions of Simon?
I suppose we thought he was like part of a circus act, really.
Yeah, you see, people don't remember this, but in the really early days when we met him, his waistband on his trousers was really, really high, and it looked like he was a head sticking out of a pair of trousers.
The single went top 5, yet more cash for the Cowell coffers.
What, sorry?
What?
A contract?
Contract.
Huh? What
contract?
What contract? We just signed the bottom of a blank page and he said that he'd fill in the rest of it later.
That's right, yeah.
That was it, yeah. I think he can have my kidneys if he ever needs them as well.
Indeed.
Definitely
if he
saw
ever gets
that written
ill,
down.
he has got your kidneys,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
So, stay well, Simon.
Please.
When the kids ran out of pocket money, Simon turned his attention to grown-ups and used the same TV trick. Robson and Jerome were already famous from ITV's Soldier Soldier, perfect populist fodder. Hold on. Don't go yet. You'll miss the big high note. Oh, they missed it too.
Only Simon Cowell could sit there watching Soldier Soldier and watch a couple of the blokes in it singing a song and think, they could sell records. Because, I saw that episode and they were awful. I couldn't wait for it to finish. But he thought, yeah, I'll do it. Phoned them up every day for about 7 months. And finally they turned around and said, yeah, we'll do it.
And that autumn we sold 3 million albums of Robson and Jerome's album of Motown covers. And the world stood back and said, how did you do that? And we then sold 2 million of the next album and then 1 million of the greatest hits. So from one tiny idea came 6 million albums in the UK and an awful lot of happy people.
I wonder where those 6 million last-minute Mother's Day presents are now. Simon had learnt how to use TV to sell records. Soon, he'd be using the medium to sell himself.
What none of us knew at the time was how quickly it was going to become a worldwide phenomenon.